It's time to explore the world according to Glenn. I'm Kevin Jacobsen. Glenn Close is my favorite actress, and this show is all about exploring the career of one of the finest actors of her generation. Each episode, I'll be joined by a guest as we dive into one of Glenn's movies, TV shows, or stage productions, going chronologically through her career, discussing her performance, and assessing the project itself. And today, we're talking Glenn's performance as Nova Prime in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Eight-time nominee Glenn Close, motherfuckers.
My guest today is back again as another two-time previous guest making their third appearance. We've been doing a lot of those lately. You heard her on the Paper episode, as well as the combined Will and Grace and West Wing episode, senior news editor at Entertainment Weekly, stats queen, the Nova Prime of awards predicting, I would say. It's Joyce Eng.
Wow, I'm the Nova Prime?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Okay, well, am I overseeing Xandar then?
You can oversee whatever planet you want.
Well, I hope like my version of Xandar does not meet the same fate as the one in the MCU then.
That is fair. We'll have to think of an analog for whoever Ronan the Accuser is in the award space, but that's offline discussion.
Well, it's great to be back.
Yes.
With Kevin Jacobsen role. So
thank you so much.
During Emmy voting too. So
wow, what a moment. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Not talking
the timing
TV,
worked out.
But yes. Yeah. Glenn is on the Emmy ballot though. All's fair. So
the best comedy of the year, perhaps?
I would say so. Some of those lines that she's saying to Sarah Paulson, my goodness, Ryan Murphy just has that woman saying anything. But alas, we're here to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy. But first, an introduction for us. I know your relationship to Glenn Close, as we've talked about many times. And you told me your idea on your second episode for a future Glenn role, which was this, you said like a musical comedy about her as like a legendary pop star going on tour for the last time. Yes. Fun idea. Still into this. Mm-hmm. But my alternative question for you this time, a bit of a creative exercise. If you could recast Glenn in a Best Actress nominated role, what would it be and why?
I was trying to think about this in the spirit of the film we're going to discuss today.
Wow. Okay.
And since there are no Best Actress nominated performances of comic book adaptations,
true,
at this moment, I'm gonna go with Ellen Ripley in Aliens.
Okay, this is very exciting. I love this. Please say more.
I mean, just like picture, especially if it was made then, in the 80s.
In
like,
80s,
can't you picture her doing it?
Absolutely.
And be nominated for it?
Mm-hmm. And I could see her very much calling the other alien a bitch,
Exactly.
So, like, wow. And Glenn and Sigourney are contemporaries. So this is very smart casting.
Exactly. So I think in an alternate timeline, if we had the time stone, perhaps.
Oh, wow.
We could make this happen. We could do a time heist and make this happen in 86.
Yes. And I definitely know what all of those things are. So, and you know what? Not to be rude to Sigourney, but I think Glenn could also have done Gorillas in the Mist and Working Girl.
That's true. Would she would have gotten those double noms that year? Would she have won either of them though?
Well, is this counting the fact that she's also in Dangerous Liaisons? Like she has the best year ever.
Yeah. I know, but then she can only be nominated for one back then. So,
not back
then.
My
God.
Yes.
Not anymore.
I know, not anymore. Maybe she would have won for Working Girl. Because I think Glenn had a bit more of a pedigree at the time.
Exactly.
Sigourney.
Yeah, it would have been like a Jessica situation.
Yes.
Perhaps. Yeah.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, amazing answer. Mm-hmm. I love this.
I'm glad we just rewrote history in the last 90 seconds.
That's what we do here. Yeah. So, also, did you have any thoughts on Glenn getting her honorary Oscar? I'm just going to keep asking this now to every guest because it's the biggest news of the year.
I'm happy that it's happening and that she accepted, because that's the other
Yes.
part too that I think people don't talk about enough. It's not just the board making the offer to these people, but the talent also has to accept it
Yeah.
because people have turned it down in the past. So, and that's why they never got it if they've since passed, you know?
Right.
So, and yeah, there's just so many people of her ilk of that era who are Oscar-less. And, you know, we're frankly running out of time. Hopefully, we still have a lot more time left with her, but
Yeah.
it's better to give her her flowers now. And, you know, maybe she can still win a competitive one in the future, like Paul Newman and Spike Lee. So,
Yeah. Henry Fonda. Yeah.
um,
There's quite a few
yeah,
examples. Yep.
and you know, it's like who's going to present the Oscar to her?
Yeah.
Because obviously she presented the honorary Oscar to Deborah Carr. And
Mm-hmm.
is this like a so-called curse, you know, in air quotes or whatever? Because it's like I know everyone's you know, I mean, I've said so myself, like maybe Amy will do it, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of options
That
there.
would be cute. Like, I have a
Hmm.
whole list, as you may have seen on Twitter, that I posted.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Michael Douglas, Rose Byrne,
Hmm. Yeah, I
John
feel
Malkovich.
like
Yeah,
Michael is like so obvious, you know?
very obvious. Yeah.
Rose would be really great because like I just love the damages
Yes,
connection there, obviously. Actually, it would have been so much better if like Rose were in contention like this year
this
or like
year,
this
right?
happened this past year, you know?
Yeah, but she is
So
a newly minted Oscar nominee, so I
yeah.
think there's some appeal to that, bringing her back. Yeah, maybe she can call her Trish, as she always called her at the
Hmm.
time. So that's a deep cut for Damages fans. Anyway, very exciting. Let's get into Guardians of the Galaxy. So
You sound
this
so
is,
excited.
yes, I'm just so curious where this conversation is going to go. But
There's so much to talk about as we were saying before we got on the mic.
so much, so many
So
directions
much.
we can go in this. So Glenn is stepping into the Marvel Cinematic Universe for the first and what seems to be the only time as of now, not counting her little video message that she does on the Guardians ride at Disney World. But for starters, this was Marvel in its well-established era of post-Avengers, where they felt a bit more comfortable taking risks, and greenlighting a Guardians of the Galaxy movie was a bit of a risk. This was a relatively obscure team of superheroes from Marvel Comics, especially compared to the, well-established names of Captain America and Iron Man and Thor and all those guys. So this is a team made up of Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord, a half-human, half-superpowered alien who loves listening to 80s music and the golden oldies. We have Gamora, this alien assassin. We have Drax the Destroyer, a big muscled fighter. Rocket, a genetically engineered talking raccoon, and his companion of sorts, Groot, a tree-like creature who can only say, "I am Groot." So that's the team, kind of a motley crew who go on various space adventures. James Gunn brought this to life, writing the screenplay with Nicole Perlman and directing the film. So Glenn's part in this is the role of Nova Prime, the leader of Nova Corps, which is the intergalactic police force, which is headquartered on the planet Xandar. So Glenn said that she wanted to do the film because she found it to be a very clever script. And she said, "I'd always wanted to play a part like that, kind of be the Judi Dench or the Samuel L. Jackson. I come in at the very end." Of course, she also said in another interview, it was because it could afford me to go do the other kinds of movies that I really love. It'll be a new experience for me, but practically speaking, it will mean that I can do those smaller movies and it'll be okay. I love how
Yeah.
straightforward she is about this.
I mean, yeah, it's the George Clooney way, right? Like it's like one for me, one for them,
Exactly.
you know?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
a lot of actors have been open about that. And it's like you have
Right.
to be realistic here. So
Yes. I just appreciate that she didn't go on this like big thing about like the importance of this character or like any of the stupid
she knew what
bullshit
she
that
was
people say.
doing. And she was
Yes.
like, how long do you think she spent on set? Like honestly. She has like what, like 5 scenes.
Like a weekend. Yeah. So,
It's like maybe two because it's like green screen. So
exactly. Yes. So, with that, a quick summary of the film, even though we don't need to spend a whole lot of time talking about the plot, given how little she's in the film, but it follows the convergence of what will become the Guardians of the Galaxy, starting with Peter Quill, played by Chris Pratt, who steals a mysterious orb on an abandoned planet with the hope of eventually selling it to the highest bidder on Xandar. So news of this theft gets out to various forces across the galaxy, including to Ronan the Accuser, played by Lee Pace, a villainous being who intends to use what's in the orb to gain further powers and to vanquish his enemies. So Ronan sends Gamora, played by Zoe Saldana, one of his underlings, to go fetch it for him. Rocket, voiced by Bradley Cooper, and Groot, voiced by Vin Diesel, also wind up on the planet Xandar. This all leads to a chaotic public scene, resulting in the arrest of all 4 by Nova officers. Nova Prime, again, played by Glenn, is looking to protect her people and is engaged in these sort of diplomatic talks with ambassadors for other nations. So Peter, Gamora, Rocket, and Groot are sent to prison where they meet Drax, played by Dave Bautista, and the 5 of them bust out of prison with the orb and flee to space. They battle Ronan the Accuser, who gains access to the orb, which contains an all-powerful Infinity Stone. And with Ronan planning to destroy the planet Xandar, Peter warns Nova Prime, who prepares for this all-out war. That's basically it. So, Joyce, I know that you were, possibly still are, a Marvel fan.
I still am.
I don't know how much that's changed. It
hasn't changed. I mean,
okay.
Obviously, it's. I think it's coming out of the Dark Ages, or it's trying to.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen Wonder Man, but that's one of its best productions in a hot minute.
Okay.
I mean, this is like we could sidebar on this, but I think Disney Plus really when it came about, like it really hurt them because it was just like oversaturated because they were just launching all these new shows and then became like too much like homework for the fans.
Same with Star Wars, yeah.
Yeah, and then they have so many like open threads now because it's like, is Harry Styles still in the MCU? Like, who knows? Like, Charlize Theron? I don't know.
Brett Goldstein?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what's happening to all these people? So, yeah, I think they lost the plot, like, pun intended, for a while there. So, and obviously they've been forced to do a lot of changes too.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see what happens with Doomsday this year. But,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But my loyalty hasn't wavered. I wouldn't say I'm like a huge stan, but like I've always enjoyed them,
Yeah. I'd say more than other people in our space have enjoyed.
Yes, I think
Marvel.
that's very true. Yeah.
Yes.
So.
But any overall initial thoughts on Guardians and your thoughts on Glenn's, short but sweet performance here?
I like the Guardians. I also can't say I had heard of them before the movie was greenlit. But I like the trilogy. I wouldn't say it's my favorite of the MCU films. I like the third one the best. I thought that was like a nice coda to it. The second one is the weakest, I think. And this first one, I think, is a good introduction. And you have to remember, like, at the time, like this came out right after Captain America: The Winter Soldier, which is one of the best, if not the best, MCU film.
Yes,
and like
featuring
that tone,
Robert Redford.
Yes, R.I.P. And that tone is completely different from Guardians. So I think, like you were saying earlier, like it was just a nice way for them to expand literally their universe and just do like a different type of film with a different voice behind it and this motley crew of Guardians of the Galaxy and just show like they don't have to stick to the same shtick to make a successful film. And then it's all, it's also setting up the whole Infinity Saga with Thanos and everything too. It's like propelling it forward. So I enjoy the film. I haven't watched a lot. I can't remember the last time I watched it before for this. And Glenn, she did her job. She did her work and went home.
Yeah.
Like Barbara Howard. So I think I think she's really good at embodying that like authoritative figure, and she has a good commanding presence. It's like stern and dignified, and you want to respect her and be on her good side. And obviously she has too little to do here, but it's not her movie. Like she knew her place in the movie, and would have been nice to see more scenes with her. Yeah, but I don't know what they would have entailed.
Yeah, or what it would have added.
Yeah, so. But she did a good job.
She did a good job. Yes. So for me, the world of Marvel and superheroes, I tend to be a bit of a fair weather fan, I will say. I grew up as like a Batman person and an X-Men person.
Oh, I love X-Men.
Yes, loved those worlds. Marvel was not really my thing. I never had an attachment to Marvel. I wasn't a comic book reader, so there obviously wasn't much exposure I would have had to Marvel. Yeah, other than like Spider-Man, but like, yeah, I hadn't even watched many of those like animated superhero shows in the 90s outside of the Batman one and obviously the X-Men one, to repeat myself. And I generally liked what the MCU was offering in those early phases, but how it kind of like naturally built up to the Avengers, and the hype of that was pretty, infectious, even if it wasn't really my thing per se. But by the time we got to this 2014 era, I remember feeling like, okay, like a little bit of fatigue with the Marvel monoculture, I guess you could call it. But it was exciting to see them trying something new. I loved Chris Pratt in Parks and Rec. The voice work with Bradley Cooper and Vin Diesel was kind of intriguing to me too. And I felt like I was more open to giving it a chance and wanting it to succeed, because even though it wasn't precisely original, it was original enough in the general culture.
For sure. I think like people, like Bradley's voice work for this too, like people were taken aback, like that was him. So.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of what Robert Pattinson was doing in The Boy and the Heron for me, where it's like, wow, I didn't know you had this in you. But I will say there is a tone to this film that I think Hollywood has been trying to capture for 12 years now, since this movie was released, that has sort of exemplified the kind of humor and nostalgia that sometimes makes me cringe. It's the sort of Joss Whedon quality, the quippy sort of undercutting a serious moment tone that if the formula is off, it grates on me so much. It's why I didn't care for Ready Player One. It's why Suicide Squad didn't work for me. Thor Love and Thunder, I think, was a disaster.
That was so bad. Oh my God.
Yes.
We don't talk about that.
No. But the self-aware sort of winking thing, I guess you could sort of put Deadpool in that too, even though that's kind of a different thing. Borderlands with Kate Blanchett was like a disaster too in that regard. I don't know. I feel like it's this lack of like sincerity that I find kind of...
Yeah, it's like a crutch almost.
Yeah.
It's like when you know your script is bad, it's like, let's just insert joke here.
Yes. It feels cowardly to me. I would go so far as to say. It's as if we don't want to risk a genuine moment, or else like the intended audience of probably like teenage boys will just make fun of them. Like that's the sort of sweaty sense that I get sometimes with these kinds of movies. And so going back and watching this, it's like, oh, this is a tone that I would gradually get tired of over time, even if I think at this time it didn't feel tired, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Because it was early, it was like the nascent stages. So then and since then it's like trying to ape that because, that's the sincerest form of flattery.
It was so successful.
Yeah. So
it's sort of like, just go with me on this. I don't know like if this is the best comparison, but it's what I thought of is like when people watch Citizen Kane.
Oh my God.
and they're like, hold on, like for the first time they're watching it all these years later, like, and being like, I don't see what's so special about this to make it like one of the best movies of all time. But it's because Orson Welles like implemented all these things that were kind of revolutionary at the time and influenced directors for generations after that. Not speaking qualitatively about those two movies, but like on a much smaller scale, there is a similar feeling I get of like, I have to sort of reorient myself back in 2014 to appreciate it.
Because now it can be so commonplace. Now you're like, what's the big deal? Like it feels so pat.
Yes.
But it was, quote, original.
Yeah.
Back then it felt fresh. So
yes. Even the needle drops were fun, I think, at the time, and not annoying like they are today. And so, but no, I think the film still works. I think the chemistry works really well. Another thing, I'm just all over the place with these, but like I thought about while watching this with like the Toy Story movies and how I've been revisiting like the movies up to Toy Story 5, obviously, because that's come out at this point. And I've been listening to the commentary tracks from the Blank Check podcast with this. And they mentioned one of the magic tricks of those films is how kind of seamlessly they introduce new characters and make them feel as if they just make perfect sense within the world they created. And it rarely feels forced. And that's kind of what I felt on this rewatch too with this movie, the way we just are introduced to so many different characters, but they're all kind of in concert with each other and bounce off each other in a really natural and sort of entertaining way. And you feel like you know all their personalities so well by the end of the film.
Yeah, and it's also, I mean, again, you have to remember at this time it was a gamble because before this
Yeah.
is phase two, and then all through phase one and the first half of phase two, it was just like the main Avengers. Those were the movies, it was Iron Man, Thor, and Cap.
Yeah.
So
And
this is the
Hulk, who
first.
was recast.
Oh yeah, yeah, Hulk, of course.
Yes.
Sorry to Edward Norton, not that he cares.
No, right.
But welcome, Mark Ruffalo. And yeah, so this was like a gamble for them to venture
Hmm.
out and try this B-list team that like it's not mainstream, right? And they made the mainstream with this movie.
Yeah, exactly. So I think a lot of the jokes do still hold up. Like the Drax and his sort of like Amelia Bedelia style jokes, I think are really great.
Hmm.
The inability to like understand metaphors, it just always makes me laugh. I think Chris Pratt still has his charms here that for me kind of gradually wore down.
Who was your favorite Chris?
Was or still is or what?
I mean, you could
Because
do
that
both. Was at this time. I mean, okay, let's do like who's your favorite MCU Chris?
Okay, well, I was gonna cheat and say Chris Messina because I just got finished with Damages, but probably Pine. Oddly enough, even though he's not MCU of like
He's
the traditional
DC.
four,
Yes.
yeah. But like, if we're narrowing it down again, I guess sort of Evans by default. All due respect. Like Pratt, like I struggle with in terms of he's so inconsistent for me because he can either be like a blank slate or just
Hmm.
really charming, roguish fun. But
Yeah.
Hemsworth is inconsistent for me too.
He is. I think like in terms of like the four, the classic four, I think
Hmm.
like Pine is the best actor. And like
Yeah.
I've always even like at the peak of like the Chris's, I always felt like he would be the first to get an Oscar.
Yes. But it could have
Um,
been for Into the Woods, which came out in 2014, which he's great in.
it's true.
Hmm.
Or Hell or High Water. So
And yeah.
I enjoy Hemi as a Brad Pitt character actor
Mm,
type. Like he's better in
yes.
supporting roles and he's so funny.
Hmm.
Like he needs to stop like doing like the drama stuff and like he can still do some action stuff, but like he's so funny. So I think that's why like Ragnarok works so much
Yes. I think
too.
so too.
And then in like the Avengers movies when he has more of a supporting role, like he is the MVP of Infinity War,
Mm,
really. And Evans is fine. I think like people conflate like Captain America and Steve Rogers like with him, you
yeah.
know? So,
Hmm.
and then Pratt, I feel the same way. It's like I feel like he can be like over reliant on just like the jokey type of shit. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I think he's like perfect for Star-Lord. Like I think this is a good
Yes.
performance for him. So,
Incredible
like
casting.
yeah.
Very inspired.
It's just
Yes.
I just remember when Infinity War came out at like opening weekend and The Ringer had this story that was like one of the Chris's dies on Infinity War and people got so mad.
Oh, lovely internet journalism. I know you don't care
Yes.
about spoilers, so I'm
I
sure
do
you're
not care
like,
about
whatever.
spoilers. Yeah. I know I'd already seen it, so I was like, I don't
Oh,
care
okay.
either.
Yeah.
But it's like
Yeah. Zoe Saldana, I think is very good here. Kind of the straight person in all this, doesn't get to have a lot of fun compared to the others, but
hmm
who knew in 10 years she would win an Oscar for a Mexican trans musical written by a French person. But, you know, and who knew
You
she
just
would be one of the two Oscar winners in this cast all those years later, too.
there are so many Oscar nominees in the MCU.
I
So,
know. Yeah. So, and obviously Rocket and Groot are just kind of like these instantly iconic characters. It is a fun sort of hangout movie. Ultimately, I think that's where it really works, is like, but in the bones of a traditional Marvel style plot, I
mhm.
guess. So, anyway, all this brings me to Glenn. And this is at the point where, like, I was fresh off of Loving Damages, and this was her first project, her first film project post Damages. She wasn't in anything in 2013. I don't blame her, since Damages probably took a lot out of her. But, and then with this,
Mhm.
I was definitely looking forward to seeing, like, how she would be integrated into this world.
What was your reaction when she was cast?
I was kind of excited, but also kind of like, ugh, okay. Sort
Like,
of
do
like,
you think she was like selling out?
yeah, a little bit.
Mm.
As dramatic as that may sound, it was just like, okay, well, clearly she needed a paycheck, but that's fine. But yeah, I mean, there's been like older actors like Anthony Hopkins and Tommy Lee Jones and Robert Redford and Jeff Bridges by that point. And so, you know, all these kind of like seasoned, established actors putting in these supporting roles to help give the films a bit more credibility, I suppose.
Hmm.
But there was always varying degrees of how well they would be utilized. And I think it's fair to
Yes,
say that Glenn was severely underutilized by the
for
MCU.
sure. Yeah, this is not like a major like plot relevant role for her.
No.
It's
Yeah.
very like 2D and just like exposition. Not
Yeah.
really exposition, but it's just there. She's kind of she's moving the plot along, but she's not part of the plot.
Yeah.
Like she
It's
could be
giving
totally removed and the movie would be fine. You could still watch.
probably. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
Nova exposition for me. But
Yeah.
I don't know how long. Do you know how long she is in this by screen time? Because I did calculate this. Not that it was hard.
No, but she has what, like 4 or 5 scenes?
Yeah.
And then a shot of her at the end when she puts the orb in the thing. And
Yes. Very reverently. Yes.
yeah,
She's on screen for 2 minutes and 30 seconds of this
beautiful.
2 hour movie.
Incredible.
Yep.
Best
Yep.
supporting actress. Where was that
I mean,
nomination?
Beatrice Straight, who, you know?
Exactly.
But
Hermione Badgley. So, because
wow.
she was
Yes.
like two
What a
minutes,
pull.
right?
That's
Yeah,
true.
like
Wow.
2:30
Look at
nominee.
you,
So,
stats queen.
yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
do you think anything was left on the editing room floor?
I mean, I was going to get to this later, but the only scene I thought could be like added and possibly then was deleted was like her reaction to the Guardians like escaping prison, maybe, because we
Yeah.
never get that.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I mean, there's not like,
Yeah, and it's also like, I mean, no shade to her, but it's like when you're watching the movie, you're caught up with the Guardians, right? And what
yeah.
they're doing and like
Hmm.
Ronan and everyone. And then when it actually like does cut back to her, those brief times, you're just kind of like, oh, right, like
Yeah.
you're here too.
Hmm. It's just a nice sort of breather, I
Yeah.
suppose, to get you to the next scene,
Yeah.
ultimately, which is tragic because it's Glenn Close, but
Hmm.
she does give it a real gravitas and reads very credibly, as always, as a woman in power who earned her position as a leader, kind of, tough but fair sort of sensibility. And she does it all with this kind of silly little wig, too, which
It's
we should
great.
probably talk about as well.
Yeah, it was like serving like Cruella the villain in a way. I mean, just like the costuming in general, obviously it's in space, but like still,
Yeah.
it's just like camp. So.
Hmm. She called it this great sculpture, a whimsy on my head. Such a way with words.
I mean, it was beautiful.
Yeah. She also
No
said,
one else could have worn it.
no, certainly not. She said, I like to think that Nova Prime has that in her, and hopefully we'll be able to see that in the future. Sadly, that did not come to
Well,
pass.
she was cut from volume two.
Yes. Was this like a
James Gunn
post-credit
did,
scene?
yeah, Gunn did say they filmed something and it was cut,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. And we never see her or Xandar or Nova Corps again. So and I'm like, knowing how that saga wraps up, it's like I don't really know how she would have fit in, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they could have shown like maybe in Infinity War like Thanos destroying Xandar and like she
Yeah.
could have been
Isn't
in
that
it.
what happens?
Yeah, that's how it like
Yeah.
but we
Yeah.
get that as dialogue. We just find out, oh, like he destroyed Xandar and he already has the Power Stone.
Yeah.
It's like we don't have time to show this.
Wow. So we can presume Nova Prime was killed off screen. Damn.
I know. Or
Brutal.
maybe I mean, she's so savvy and smart enough. Maybe like she was able to escape somehow. I don't
That's
know.
true. Yeah. Her mind.
Maybe
She
it's
could
like
figure
yeah,
something out.
her mind. She has her own ship
Yeah.
for sure. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. She's
Yeah.
somewhere out there in space.
Yes. That would be quite a gag if
Mhm.
suddenly in Doomsday we get a surprise cameo. But
Why not? I mean, everyone else is in it, so bring her
exactly.
back.
Yeah.
Where's her director's chair?
Mm-hmm.
I will
Well,
say, I think like
yeah.
she did pave the way for her fellow Oscar list queens to join the MCU because as you were saying before, like we had a lot of these male
Yeah.
seasoned vets in the MCU, and she's really kind of like the first like actress of her stature to join. But after that, we have Annette Bening and Captain Marvel, the same type of role, the Supreme
Yeah.
Intelligence. Michelle Pfeiffer and Ant-Man and Angela Bassett, who was Oscar nominated in Black Panther,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah. That's very true. Once again, she is paving the way for her fellow
What a
actresses, much like
trendsetter.
she did on Damages with TV. So, yeah, but I also wanted to read this quick comment. Speaking of the director's chair, as you mentioned, James Gunn made a comment about working with Glenn, actually, and how positive of an experience it was for her to have her on set. So he said she was a movie star on a set of movie stars who was so down to earth. She'd chill out in the on-set tent with the day players chatting instead of going to her trailer. And her acting, Jesus. Glenn has 1,000-pound eyeballs, which add weight to everything she says. I don't know if there's a better quality a film actor can have. Wow.
I mean, what a compliment, but I'm also just like, what scenes is he specifically talking about?
Great question.
Yeah.
And I'm also curious what 1,000-pound eyeballs means.
It sounds positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, what scene did you see that in?
Right.
I'm not disputing that.
Yeah.
But
She's definitely serving looks and
yeah.
acting with her eyes, to his credit. But yeah, it's quite a bit of reacting, I would say. What this role
I mean, I
is,
do
but
enjoy her scene with like John C. Reilly,
yeah.
the Dick scene, the 100% Dick.
Yeah. I mean, we can just literally go through every
Yeah.
one of her scenes, honestly.
For 2
and-
minutes.
right. Just like break it down like every line. Her first scene is at Nova headquarters. So she's like speaking to this ambassador for the Kree, which is this whole other planet species situation.
Annette Bening, essentially.
Yes. Right. There you go. So
Connect to her eventually.
right. So her first line is quite a mouthful, I must say. She says, Ronan is destroying Xandarian outposts throughout the galaxy. I should think that would call for some slight response on the part of the Kree. And
Just
I'm like,
Shakespearean.
she can make any line work.
Yeah.
And you believe it. To which the Kree is like, oh, we signed your peace treaty. What more do you want? And she really goes to town in this particular line where she's like, at least a statement from the Kree Empire saying that they condemn his actions. He is slaughtering children, families. And I'm
It's
like,
the
damn.
delivery.
Yes.
You
the
just really
gravitas.
buy into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
And-
I love that you wrote down every single line that she
I mean,
said.
It's hard.
Not that it was
to.
hard.
No, it was not hard. I actually honestly just pulled up the script and copied and pasted, and it was very easy. But yeah, and he just kind of abruptly ends the call, to which she kind of deadpans prick, which is
Beautiful.
cute little button on that line. And yes, this may all be exposition, but I do think she kind of does have a nice way here of filling in the gaps to give this whole interplanetary conflict some weight, and is showing that Nova is this very diplomatic person who knows how to navigate these tricky situations. All of this reminds me so much of her performance as the vice president in Air Force One, I must say. Just leading with authority and playing it with a seriousness despite like the silliness of the wig and whatnot. And there's no winking to the audience or like being like, playing pretend in that way. It's, for me, I also wrote this down. It's giving Hillary Clinton like negotiating with ambassadors as Secretary of State kind of energy.
I mean, like, again, it's 2014,
Yes.
so yeah, it is very Hillary coded. And I think she's like said this before too. It's like she is so known for her serious roles that she's not considered for like fun roles like these. But I think she knows like exactly what to bring to these kind of roles and these, non-drama films. And like, even if like this, she's playing the scene dramatic, it's just like her line readings, like there's still a tinge of humor to it, and she knows like what the scene calls for, that it doesn't read like sullen or anything, that so
yeah. And just, again, very visually striking, I think, watching her. I want to talk a little bit about the costume, if we can, which is this beautiful blue suit. So I was reading in this new book that I got about the Glenn Close costume collection.
Of course.
It's called The Art of the Character. I can show you here, actually. This is a audio podcast, but for you, I will show you this. Yes, this beautiful coffee table book. Yes. And there's this extended interview with Glenn going through her whole career in costumes. And there's a part about Guardians here. And
As there should be.
Yes. And it's, as I was reading it, I was like, the costume designer, Alexandra Byrne, did not have to go this hard for this costume, but she did. So she said like that Alexander had found this fabric she wanted for the uniforms of Nova Prime in China, and that it had the qualities of a thin neoprene, like a wetsuit. But Alexander wanted the fabric to have like more structure. And so Glenn says, in her brilliance, she decided to bond 2 layers of the same fabric in order to achieve her desired effect. The beautifully structured uniform is made out of fabric created by the designer, 2 bonded layers of synthetic fabric. It didn't exist before. It was invented for Guardians of the Galaxy. If you feel the fabric, it has the same feel of a wetsuit. Its density means it keeps its structure through movement. Alexander could have done 1 layer, but she did 2. I found that really fascinating. But in the fittings, I feel sorry for the tailor who needed real muscle in order to manipulate the challenging fabric. So,
now like it's a shame she never returned.
Right?
Yeah, to rock that 2-layer
Yeah.
suit.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
But it really is very detailed when you actually stop and look at it. It's this beautiful sort of form-fitting suit. There's this insignia bars underneath the lapel. They're like the patches on the side with the Nova Corps symbols. It's
I think like that's something with like when watching like films, it's like it's so hard, even if you're struck by costuming, it's so hard to appreciate the details in a scene unless you actually like look at photos, or if you're lucky enough to see it in person, on display or something.
Right. And in a way, like it is a very good character sort of thought for Alexander Byrne to be like, we want this suit to have like the structure where like as she moves, it doesn't really like crumple up or do anything else. It's very like reflective of who Nova Prime is, like very direct and solid and nothing out of place. So I'm like, look at you, Alexander Byrne. Maybe we needed a costume design nomination,
A lot of the costumes in MCU go hard, and they deserve more love than they've gotten.
But after that one scene at like the 20-minute mark, she completely disappears for a full hour. Like she comes back at the 80-minute mark, I think is where I marked it, which is truly wild. But as we see, like she truly has no idea what's coming for Xandar. Like when her corpsman there, John C. Reilly, informs her that you just received this transmission about like Ronan has an Infinity Stone. Or in his words, he says something called an Infinity Stone.
It's so funny. Like, like back then, like they don't really like now we all know what Infinity Stones are and we can name them all. But back then it's like, oh, where are they going with this?
Right. But it's also a little bit, I think, a great little indication that like these Nova Corps, like they may not even know what an Infinity Stone is. Like based on the reaction though, that, she knows it's bad. The way she says, good God. With the classic sort of Glenn gravitas.
She's just eating like every single one of her lines.
Yes. She's making the most of it.
Yes.
Yeah. And they go back and forth about like whether or not they believe this sort of transmission from Peter. It's a fine scene. Again, it's just so expositional that like there's not
she did
a
her
lot
job.
to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she does say at one point at the end of that scene, though, that I found funny, the way she says, I mean, do you believe that he's here to help? It's a classic sort of Patty Hughes sort of impatience, like yelling at an underling, like, stop wasting my time. Like, I need this information now. Stop joking around, that kind of thing. So she's still got a little bit of Patty in her.
Yeah. It's it's like stern, but not overly mean and hostile, It's like, who's boss here.
Yes. Exactly. So from there, I mean, she gets a few fun little isolated scenes where she speaks with that grave seriousness as she's guiding the Nova military and is just like, evacuate the city. And it's like, our priority is to get our people away from the battle. And then later in the battle, she's like asking that the Nova pilots like interlock to form this like net situation to protect it. I mean, she's really leading by example here and is prioritizing the safety of her citizens first and foremost. Ruling with a calm, firm hand. So I respect her.
I love when like there are fight scenes in movies and then like, there's always like the person in charge who's just overseeing the fight.
Yes.
It's like they're part of the scene, but they're not actually part of the scene.
Yeah. I mean, not unlike what she was doing in Air Force One.
Yes.
So she has experience in that way. So, she has a few like nice serving in silence moments as she's, watching the destruction going on on her planet, just like kind of staggered by the extent of Ronan and his men attacking the city and just kind of like staring out probably at nothing based on how these movies are typically filmed. But you know what? She
Staring
makes
out
you
at
believe it.
James Gunn.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
Telling her how to react. But it's a big epic battle by the end, and all hope seems lost, of course, when Ronan touches down on Xandar and the people are just watching in horror. We get some business with like Peter sort of distracting him before Rocket and Drax use this like super cannon thing to shoot at Ronan's warhammer that he has, which has the Infinity Stone.
Yes. He
And it
stuffed it
explodes.
inside.
Yes, into this sort of like hurricane of like purple light. That
It's
seems
the
to,
Power
like,
Stone.
yes, exactly what you said. It just kind of seems to destroy everything, but both Ronan and Peter are touching it, and Peter proves to be far more powerful than we expected, especially when his new friends kind of join forces and overpower Ronan, who then explodes. What do we think of Lee Pace, by the way, in this? I think he's fun.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. And he did his job. Is it like
He
my
did his
favorite
job.
performance ever? No. But I think
It's no pushing daisies.
no, exactly. So, but I think it's like cool to see him in a role like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to like Glenn. It's like, oh, like she's in this, like he's in this as the
Yeah.
villain. Like, what's he gonna do? So,
Yeah, I think very inspired casting as well.
mhm.
So, and that's where finally Glenn's last scene arrives in the aftermath of the wreckage. And Peter learns that he is half Terran, aka of the Earth, I believe, right?
Yes.
And as she says, again, with such gravitas, like more than it needs to be, the way she says, your father, well, something very ancient we've never seen here before.
And they're just like looking over the hologram of like the city too. And like you're looking
Yes.
at nothing and she's like delivering the speech.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yes.
and then she just walks away too, because like the scene continues without her. I was like, this is so well
Yes.
done. It's
Well,
like exit stage left.
let's not go past her final line, though.
Oh, yes, of course.
Because this is important. As she says, your friends have arrived. On behalf of the Nova Corps, we'd like to express our profound gratitude for your help in saving Xandar. I mean, beautifully stated. Once again.
I mean, what a 2 weekends for her.
Right?
She did all that work.
I'm sure she had a blast, and she
Yeah.
talked to the day players instead of
Yeah,
going
she
to her
hung out on
trailer,
set. Yeah. So it was worth it. Got the
It was
paycheck.
worth it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and then, like you, I think, mentioned earlier, the last scene of her in
The
the whole
montage, yeah.
MCU is in the montage at the end where we check in with everyone and she secures the Infinity Stone in this container and has this very satisfied look on her face.
Yeah, they pulled a fast one on Yondu
Yeah.
because he opens his orb and it's a troll. They literally trolled him. And
Yeah.
it's too bad because, off screen, Thanos somehow got the orb out of that case
I know.
and we'll never see it.
I would like to have seen that
Yeah.
sequence myself.
I would have liked to see in her face Josh Brolin.
That would be very fun. Yeah, but sadly, that is the last we see of Miss Nova Prime on screen. This is also, by the way, where I found out that she actually has like a name, even though it's not actually
yeah, like
said.
no one calls her that though.
It is never stated in the film whatsoever. I don't
It's like
remember it.
Arena something.
Yeah.
It starts with an I know that.
Yeah, so
Irani Rail. Probably butcher that, but
doesn't roll off the tongue.
no,
But
that's why they call her Nova Prime.
right, yes, Nova Prime has an elegance to it, I think. But
Mhm. It does make me sad because when she was promoting the movie, she wanted to do more, and like obviously
Yeah.
she did shoot the scene in the sequel, but it didn't work out and we never saw her again. So
she wanted to be the Judi Dench
yeah, she wanted to be M.
or Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes,
Even
yeah.
though we already have a Samuel L.
We
Jackson.
already have a Samuel L. Jackson, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess they could have, when they launch Disney Plus, they could have done a Nova Prime series, a Nova Core series. I don't know.
Wow. Yeah. You know what? She would be up for
Oversaturation. Yeah.
it.
Instead,
She
they
would
did
be up for it.
those Guardians like Christmas specials instead. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
Did you have any further thoughts in terms of the film itself that you may not have expressed earlier on this rewatch? Any observations at all?
I don't think so. I think, like we were saying before, it's just kind of fun to, or not fun, but it's like interesting to watch an older film knowing what we know now
Yeah.
about something. Because I remember watching at the time, it's like, of like what is going to happen with like the Infinity Stones and like Thanos and all this. And, so. And then like knowing what we know now and knowing that like we don't even see him get this stone like we do with like the other
Right.
ones. It's like it's like
That was
I
pretty
know it's like a timing thing probably. It's like it'll make like Infinity War even longer, but still
yeah.
it makes me sad like we never saw her again, because I remember thinking it's like, oh, like we might see like she thought like, oh, we'll probably like see her in the sequels. And we didn't. And then the way it concluded, like I think it makes sense that we never saw them again,
Yeah.
but it's sad.
Yeah, well, she does at least get a credit that is very fun, which is with Glenn Close as Nova Prime. I don't know if you noticed that in the beginning.
Yeah, she got the with and Benicio got the and.
Yes,
Yeah. I was like, Glenn should have also gotten the and.
I think so. I think she's earned the and. But I
Yeah,
do
this
like that
is
she has the character name in it too, though.
yeah.
That's always fun.
This is like how like Chris Pratt got the and in like Infinity War and
Oh my God.
Endgame. I was like,
Yeah.
who's your agent?
Yeah.
I was like, Brolin
Seriously.
should have gotten the and.
Yeah,
Come on.
honestly. Of anyone. Right. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot else to say. Obviously, it's just
Yeah.
not really like a big role for her, even though
No, it's a fun, I think it's a fun credit in her resume
it's a fun
and
curio for her.
yes. Yeah, and I think it's like also I know like, so many people revere her and her acclaimed performances and her filmography and you might like look down on her taking this role, but it's, just like don't be precious about
No.
her roles and movies in general. It's like have a little fun with it like she did. So,
Yeah, she's not a Daniel Day-Lewis,
yeah.
that sort of thing.
She did not live in space for 6 months to prepare for this role, so
But you know what? I think she could have.
she definitely could have.
But did you know that it is in her top 4 on IMDb?
That does not surprise me, based on
Yeah.
the people who vote on IMDb.
It's just like, wow, okay, if you actually look at it, it's Fatal Attraction,
Of
Dangerous
course.
Liaisons, The Wife, shout out to The Wife,
Hmm.
getting up there, and Guardians of the Galaxy. Those are the 4.
Yeah, and I will say, like, I would, like, most of my normie friends would have probably, of those four, just seen Fatal Attraction and Guardians. Like, they would have not seen The Wife for sure. And Dangerous
Well, they're
Liaisons,
missing out.
yeah, like, no, like, that's just not going to be their jam. So I think this
No.
also exposes her to a different demographic as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I just am kind of baffled that 101 Dalmatians isn't there, but it is what it is.
I mean, more of her 90s movies should be up there. Like Mars Attacks. This is also kind of in that
Yeah,
vein too. So,
that's true.
Air Force One,
The Paper.
The Paper. She needed more love in the 90s.
I think so. She was serving in silence as well. So,
Hmm.
anyway, as we get to the end and we get to the release of the film, I will just tease this. No promises, but there's a non-zero chance that later this year I may be offering a special report from experiencing the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind ride in Disney World. So, stay tuned.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, we shall see. Will it happen? Who knows? It could be like Guardians 2, and I'm just like...
You're cut at the last second.
It doesn't actually happen, and I just tease this very exciting thing that happens, but like, it is technically a Glenn role performance, you could say. So
Stay tuned.
stay tuned.
Yeah. Should have I don't think we mentioned this yet. Like she also like you could tell like she really loved working on this movie and I guess also too as well because like she came to James Gunn's defense when, he was temporarily fired.
That's true.
So
Yeah,
it's
she
like
did do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bring her
that was
back to the MCU. Come on.
I think so. I think
Yeah.
it's time. Just work with James Gunn again. See how he can
Yeah,
use her in something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put her in Peacemaker or something. Come on, James.
Honestly, she would definitely be down for that. So, Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, let's get to the release of Guardians of the Galaxy. It was released on August 1st, 2014. It first premiered at the Dolby Theater on July 21st before it went wide the first day of August. And it really proved that August could be a viable month at the box office after studios often kind of dumped their films there. But this really was a smash, debuting at number one, of course, at the box office. Nice to have a Glenn film at number one again. Small as her part may have been, but it grossed 94 million that first weekend in America, beating films like Lucy, Get On Up, Hercules, and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Hercules. Oh my
Yes.
God. Remember
Yeah,
Hercules? No.
not really.
No one moved.
So, yes, exactly. But that was the sort of what it was released at, and you can imagine why it did quite well with that competition, all due respect. But it had major legs, eventually grossing 333 million domestic and 770 million worldwide. It was the number 3 movie of 2014, behind The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1, a franchise that Glenn will soon be joining here in 2026, mind you. And number 1, of course, American Sniper.
Of course.
Yeah,
How could anyone forget?
yes. I was going to make like another try to shoehorn in a Glenn comparison there and be like, is that like her Hillbilly Elegy? Is that where the comparison there? I don't know.
Is it?
But
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, critics were almost universally positive with a lot of praise for the tone and the dynamic of the characters. But with Glenn, there was criticism, not for her, but for the film not utilizing her well enough, which also went for Benicio del Toro and John C. Reilly as well. It's truly shocked me watching this again that John C. Reilly was in this, I must say, as just like Glenn's underling.
Probably just another paycheck role for him
Yeah.
as well. So why not? Don't judge.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, with awards, of course, Glenn was never going to get nominations for this, but the film did pretty well with end of year awards, especially the guilds. I even forgot it got a Writers Guild nomination as well for Best Adapted Screenplay, and it did get 2 Oscar nominations for Best Makeup and Hairstyling and Best Visual Effects. You could perhaps say that Glenn's hairstyling is a minor contributing factor in getting that nomination, but it lost those categories to The Grand Budapest Hotel and Interstellar, respectively. So even I'm not delusional enough to think any of this truly has to do with Glenn, but why do you think the film was received so positively across the board with audiences and critics groups and awards groups? Also, maybe a loaded question too for you, but do you think the film would have had the same effect if someone else were in the role of Nova Prime and not Glenn? No
I
pressure.
think like who else? Who would you stunt cast as Nova Prime if not her?
Well, I mean, there is Sigourney Weaver, like I mentioned.
Yeah, there is
but-
Sigourney Weaver. Yeah, we'll switch their roles with aliens. Yeah,
Right.
even if Sigourney were in the role, I think it would have gotten the same response. I know it would have been the same criticism. It's like, oh, she did what she had to do, but she was underutilized. The role was underwritten.
Yeah.
I think it got the reception it did just because it did feel like a breath of fresh air at the time. It was obviously still in the MCU, but it wasn't the usual suspects we had been
Right.
watching for 6 years at this point.
Mhm.
And it's a group that most people were not aware of unless you were a hardcore comics fan. So that also felt new, even though it was an adaptation. Like it wasn't like it was adapting X-Men that
Right.
everyone knew. It was like I really had never heard of Guardians of the Galaxy before this movie. So and then I think some of it was also with like Chris Pratt as well, because obviously he was still on Parks and Rec. And he had like all these supporting parts in a lot of Oscar movies in the years leading up to it, like Best Picture
Yeah.
nominees too,
Zero
and
Dark
this,
30.
yeah, Moneyball.
Moneyball. Yeah.
And this was like a huge leading role for him. And he got jacked for this. Remember that his
Mhm.
Instagram photo.
Yes.
So I think it was also kind of like ready for his like leading man
He was ready for his
star.
close up.
Yeah, he
Let's
was ready
just
for
say
his
it.
close up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a lot of kind of like sort of like media buy-in to that as well. So, and then also you have to remember, nowadays like people are more down on the MCU, so maybe like their pen will be stingier. So, a little more me, but I think back then when people were still kind of high on the product, like they were a little bit more like generous with like opening remarks and responses to it.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, and like it is a good movie, so it's like,
Hmm.
it's not like it was
Yeah.
bad. So,
Yeah. I think they just really perfected the formula really well. And I
yeah.
think James Gunn was coming at it from a place of real love for these characters and
Hmm.
seemed to really understand the relationships and how they could have such fun bouncing off each
Yeah,
other.
that's
Yeah.
that's a really good point too. Like I don't know if anyone else could have made or adapted this group.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if
So,
they had just like hired like a random director, like brought someone in to adapt it, I don't think it would work as well. And I think that's also why when he was fired for like 2 minutes, like the entire
mhm.
cast, wrote that letter,
Yep.
like it's like no one else could do this but him.
Yeah. As soon as you said random director, I thought of Rodrigo Garcia,
Oh my God.
her Glenn's frequent collaborator of Albert Nobb's fame and things you can tell just by looking at her and Four Good Days and Nine Lives. Imagine
Imagine
him
if she
directing
was,
an MC.
yeah, if she was like, I think he should do this. I will only join this movie if he does this.
That's it. That's my writer. So that's that. Again, Glenn had fun, and it was a nice paycheck for her to make a series of movies after this that, quite frankly, don't exist, leading up to the wife. Like,
What was after this? I don't even
oh
remember. Oh my
my goodness.
gosh.
Well,
What was it?
you're lucky that I've been planning out the next few episodes that I can remember these. So we had. Please let me know if you have heard of any of these.
Okay.
Okay. So we had Lowdown, 5 to 7, Anesthesia, The Girl with All the Gifts, What Happened to Monday.
I think and Anesthesia's the one with Kristen Stewart, right?
Got me.
I
I haven't
think.
watched it yet, so we'll see.
Okay.
But The Wild Wedding,
Sure.
The Great Gilly Hopkins,
What?
The Great Gilly Hopkins, starring Sophie Nélisse of Yellow Jackets fame.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, baby Sophie, and also Kathy Bates is in that. What else? What else? What else? What else? Father Figures, Crooked House. Did I say that?
No.
That's an Agatha Christie. Have you heard of
Okay.
any of these? Those are 9 movies I just listed.
I I think like the only one was Anesthesia because I don't know
Yeah.
why I just had like a flashback of reading Kristen Stewart's name
Okay.
attached to that. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
the other ones, no. I
Well,
cannot say yes.
it is going to be
Are they
quite an
available
adventure.
anywhere? Can you find them anywhere?
Listen, I'm sure some of these are on Tubi and your local library apps, I imagine, are there. So, yes, Kristen Stewart is in Anesthesia, but
There
she's
you
not like
go.
the star.
Okay.
But
How many of these
yeah,
were like direct to, I guess streaming? I mean, streaming wasn't really big back then, direct to video.
I think these are just movies that were either that or
Or like
very
festival
limited release
premieres. Yeah.
festival premieres. Yes. By the way, Anesthesia directed by Tim Blake Nelson. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
There you
starring
go.
Tim Blake Nelson. So, very exciting. Exciting times ahead on the Glen Pod. Until we
Well,
get
what
this
a
is the bridge
period.
to this is a bridge to the wife, really, is
Yeah,
what this is.
between the Guardians to the wife
Yes.
pipeline.
Yes.
Because she wasn't doing much on TV either during this time.
Not at all.
Because like
Oh
Damages
well,
was done.
yeah. She made like one-off appearance on Louie as a random
Of course.
like
Sure.
uncredited
Yes.
role.
Yes.
And she did a cameo as herself on Family Guy, but like nothing
Yeah.
of substance.
No.
Yeah.
You know what? She deserves like she was still working, but she deserved a break.
Yes. I'm
So
sure Damages was very consuming for her for
yes.
5 years.
Mhm.
So anyway, let's get to our last segment where we're going to rate Glenn's performance on a very specific
This is
scale.
gonna be so hard.
I'm so excited to hear what you say. So, thinking about her performance as Nova Prime and where this sits in her career, would you say she's ready for her close up? Is it local energy? Is it close but no cigar? Or we have, of course, our new secret categories serving in silence, which is delivering a great supporting performance, or Glennicent, meaning she's good, but the project not so much.
I would say she's serving in silence here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, I mean, in a way, she's also ready for her close-up because I would like to know more about Nova Prime.
Yeah.
Like give me a Nova Prime limited series,
Mm-hmm.
something.
Absolutely.
But just because of like the way the movie is, she serviced the movie in that
Yeah.
role. So I would say she's serving in silence. And it's a good movie and it's a good performance. So I have no issues with either of those. So
Yeah, this is the very definition of serving in silence. You could say it's the Nova Prime of serving in silence.
it's true. Let's call it that. The Nova Prime serving in silence award.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's barely in the movie, and yet
hmm
when she's on screen, she is commanding, she is ready to serve. She is
Yeah.
basically a combination of the Air Force One and, honestly, the namesake of the category, Margaret Kammermeyer, in Serving in Silence, you know?
It's true. Yeah.
But
So,
yeah, having a fun
hmm
costume, fun wig.
like everything about the character is great. Like
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with anything she did or anything with like her look or anything.
right,
And there's nothing
right.
wrong with the film. It's just like this is what the role called for, and it's fine. So,
That's it.
yeah.
Yeah. A low lift for her ultimately,
Yeah.
but
hmm
I'm glad she had a good time and was able to do other smaller films that don't exist, including eventually a movie that did exist that could have just been one of those random movies that didn't exist. The Wife.
hmm And you know what? I would like, I mean, I love what she's been doing lately. I feel like we maybe talked about
Yes.
this last time. And like, I want, even if she never returns to the MCU again, I want to see her in more projects like this, like just like a
Yeah.
big production, like a mainstream film. I mean, I don't really count Wake Up Dead Man as that because, obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But just like but she was great in that too. But just like something more like that, where I think like more like mainstream audiences can see her and really appreciate her, like we do when we watch her smaller films, like The Wife.
Yes. And that's why it's exciting to see her joining the Hunger Games with
Yeah.
a ridiculous
hmm
makeup job and costumes, So
hmm
cannot wait to break down whatever that performance is.
That's gonna be, yeah. I don't know. I mean, just like everyone, like the entire casting in that movie sends me.
Yes.
I don't
It's
know.
wild.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like I've never been like a Hunger Games person. But I'm just like, wow. Okay, sure. We'll see.
hmm We'll see. Well, on that note, Joyce, this was fun. We made 2 minutes and 30 seconds of screen time stretched out to an hour. So good
Is
for
there
us.
anything we can't do? Come on.
No, this is probably our shortest episode that we've ever recorded of anything, to be fair. But it's still noteworthy that we passed the 1 hour mark. So good for us.
This is what Glenn deserves, okay? So,
I think so. Yeah,
yeah. We have to break down her performance in this film, so,
exactly.
yeah.
So there we have it.
Mhm.
Where can people find more of you on the internet?
I'm at EW, and on Twitter, of course, at Joyce Eng 61. So,
Yeah,
still
follow
there.
Joyce.
Yeah,
Still there.
still there.
Still
I'll be there
clinging to the
until,
life rafts.
yeah. It's just like, you know what? I've said this before, but like, I can't do Blue Sky. It's just like, it's
Not the
not
vibe.
chaotic. Yeah, not the vibe. It's not chaotic enough for me. And I'll just stay here until the whole place burns down. So,
Great.
yeah.
Sounds good.
hmm
All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening. You can find me at Kevin_Jacobsen on Twitter and Instagram. Just Kevin Jacobsen, no underscore on Blue Sky. You can also listen to my Oscar-themed podcast, And the Runner-Up Is, for coverage of every single Best Actress race. That's And the Runner-Up Is on all platforms. And to keep up with the world according to Glenn on social, follow The Glenn Pod. Rate, review, and follow if you haven't already. And with that, I'll bid you all adieu.